everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the LYS bronzers and blushes. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I will do my best to reply back. I purchased 2 bronzers and all 6 blushes. We're first going to start off with the bronzers and then we'll move on to the blushes. These bronzers retail for $18 each. I purchased 2 different shades in Courage and Harmony. I do want to read a little bit about these bronzers on Sephora's website. A clean, talc-free, buildable matte bronzer that sculpts, defines, and livens up the complexion with a silky smooth formula. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It has a triangular shape. It says LYS Beauty No Limits Matte Bronzer. It says it's vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free. You get 0.23 ounces or 6.5 grams of product. On the side of the packaging, you have the shade name. This shade is called Harmony. It's described as a medium shade. Does the same thing on this side as well. On the back of the packaging, you have a little description, the key ingredients, and then down at the bottom, it lists the full ingredients. It states down at the very bottom that these were made in Taiwan. On the bottom of the packaging, you have the barcode. It is PETA approved and it has a 24-month shelf life. How cool is the packaging? On the side of the packaging, it says love yourself XO. That's super cute. And then on the other side, it says confidence without compromise. Here's what the actual bronzer looks like. It says LYS. On the back of the packaging, it says LYS Beauty No Limits Matte Bronzer. Then you have the shade name. Again, this shade is called Harmony and it's described as a medium shade. Same thing that I mentioned earlier, 0.23 ounces, 6.5 grams of product, and a 24-month shelf life. Here's what the bronzer shade in Harmony looks like. It does come with a mirror, and up at the top it has a little magnet, so it does have that magnet closure. Let's see what the shade in Harmony looks like. Here we have Harmony. The other shade I purchased is called Courage. This is described as a tan shade. Here's what Courage looks like. Courage seems to be a little bit too deep. The first shade I'm going to be trying is the shade in Harmony. I'm just going to be using a normal bronzer brush. It does have a little bit of kick up. This shade in Harmony is very subtle, but you can see I have a little bit of warmth. I'm going to apply a little bit to my forehead. I did forget to mention I do have my base makeup on, so I just have foundation, sunscreen, moisturizer, and I did set everything with my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder. Apply some to my jawline. Here's a closer look on the shade in Harmony. It's really beautiful. On the left side, I'm going to apply the shade in Courage. I'm going to be using the same brush to apply the shade in Courage. I'm just going to clean it with my Sephora Instant Clean Dry Spray. Now that my brush is nice and clean, let's see what the shade in Courage looks like. Courage is a little bit deep for me, but I can definitely make it work. I'm going to apply a little bit to my forehead. And I'm going to apply a little bit to my jawline. Here's what the 2 bronzer shades look like side by side. Again, we have the shade in Courage. And then we have the shade in Harmony. I love how soft the formula is. There's no shimmer and it does build up really nicely. A little bit goes a long way. For $18, I definitely think these bronzers are worth it. I also really like the triangular packaging and it's nice and compact. Now let's move on to the blush shades. Again, I purchased all 6 blushes in this collection. They're online only, so I wasn't able to see them in person. There are 6 blushes in total and 5 bronzers. Each blush retails for $16 on Sephora's website. I do want to read a little bit about these blushes. A clean, high pigment, non-greasy satin matte blush with a buildable creamy formula that gives skin a natural flush. Here's a closer look on what the blush packaging looks like. It says LYS Beauty Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. You get 0.23 ounces or 6.5 grams of product. On the side here, you have the shade name. This shade is called Kindness. On the back of the packaging, you have a little description, the list of the key ingredients, then the actual ingredients, and down at the bottom, it states that this was made in Taiwan. On the bottom of the packaging, you have the barcode, and next to the barcode, it says it's PETA Sephora approved, and it has an 18-month shelf life. And again, it just opens up like this. And then inside you have the blush. Same thing on the side of the packaging. It says love yourself XO, and then it says confidence without compromise. The packaging looks like a little pizza box. Now I'm hungry. Here's a closer look on what the blush packaging looks like. It is different from the bronzer. The bronzer packaging is mirrored, where the blush, it's not mirrored. It has more of that matte finish to it. It's beautiful. And again, here's what the back looks like. On the back of the packaging, it says LYS Beauty, Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. And again, you have the shade name. The shade is called Kindness. And same thing like I said earlier, Peter approved, cruelty-free, 18-month shelf life. You get 0.23 ounces, 6.5 grams of product. Here's what the blush shade in Kindness looks like. Same packaging. It has that magnetic closure up at the top. Let's swatch the shade in Kindness. Feels very creamy in the pan. Here's what Kindness looks like. Kindness is described as a soft, peachy nude. That's really beautiful. The formula is so interesting. It applied very creamy on the back of my hand, but it's matte. How cool is that? Let's try this on. Taking a clean blush brush, I'm going to dip into the shade in Kindness. This blush shade is really pretty, but it is disturbing the makeup underneath. I'm gonna fix that a little bit, just going over it using my foundation brush. I thought I would really like this cream to powder finish, but I'm not liking how it's removing the makeup underneath. I do want to see what it looks like using my damp beauty blender. I'm just gonna take a little bit. I like that way better using my dampened beauty blender. It looks a little bit too thick. I want to see if I can use my blush brush to soften it out without disturbing the makeup underneath. That was not a good idea. Again, it's lifting up the foundation underneath. I do want to play with the cream blushes a little bit more. It's not coming out as I was expecting it. It looks a little bit too thick and cakey. Well, this particular shade in Kindness looks too thick and cakey on me. For now, I'm gonna take a pause. I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow when I'm not wearing a ton of powder on my face, and I will see you guys then. Hey guys, it is day 2 of me testing out the Satin Matte Cream Blush in the shade Kindness. I wanna see how the blush applies using a dual fiber brush. I'm gonna take a little bit on my blush brush. Here's how much product I have on my brush. Let's see what the shade looks like. Yesterday when I used a damp beauty blender, it looked very thick. Wanted to see what it looked like using a dual fiber brush. Seems to be applying evenly. I have not set my skin with any powder. I just finished applying my foundation. It has not dried down yet. The blush shade in Kindness is still disturbing the foundation underneath. You don't need a lot of product. A little bit goes a long way. This shade is a little bit too light for me, but it is really pretty. The next shade we're gonna swatch is in the shade Confident. Here's what the shade in Confident looks like. Confident is described as a pink cinnamon spice. I'm going to be using the same brush. I'm just going to quickly clean it with my Sephora Dry Clean Spray. Now that my brush is nice and clean, let's see what the shade in Confident looks like. Again, here's how much product I have on my brush. Here's what the shade in Confidence looks like. I like this shade way better than the first shade in Kindness. Again, it is lifting up that foundation underneath. The next shade is called Self Love. Self Love is described as a rosy mauve. Again, another beautiful blush. It's my foundation off camera and I cleaned up my dual fiber brush. Now let's see what the shade in Self Love looks like. Here's how much product I have on my brush. I'm doing a stippling motion, that way it won't disturb the foundation underneath so much. I'm not really a huge cream bronzer person. I definitely prefer a powdered blush. That shade in Self Love applied beautifully on the cheek. Again, you can see a little bit of my hyperpigmentation peeking through. The next shade is called Passion. Passion is described as a fuchsia pink. Let's see what the shade in Passion looks like. Again, I clamped my brush off camera. Here's how much product I have on my brush. Again, I'm doing a stippling motion, making sure I'm not using too much pressure. Another beautiful blush shade. Even though this blush formula is lifting up my foundation underneath, I really do like these cream blushes. They're very pigmented. A little bit of product, again, goes a very long way. The second to last shade is called Inspire. Inspire is described as a baked coral. My blush brush is getting a little bit stained, but that's totally fine. I'll wash it later. Let's see what the shade in Inspire looks like. Again, doing that stippling motion. Another beautiful shade. The last shade is called Empower. Empower is described as a deep berry plum. Again, so pretty. Let's see what the shade in Empower looks like. Here's how much product I have on my brush. Here's what the shade in Empower looks like. Another gorgeous shade. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not really a cream blush person. I like the shades of these blushes. They do swatch really beautiful on the back of my hand. All of the blushes look gorgeous when I applied it to my cheeks, except for the first shade in Kindness. That was a little bit too light for my skin tone. I don't like this blush formula. It lifts up the foundation underneath. It shows my hyperpigmentation. Wish LYS would come out with a matte blush. I think that would be amazing. But for these cream bronzers, I would pass on them. I think if you have perfect skin, you would love these cream blushes. I really did love these bronzers. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below on LYS Beauty. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.